that is a wild ride for Bob Lee and for everybody reading. He was a sort of pretty big business person in the tech world, right? Google, Elon Musk, those type of connections. He obviously was getting very good business during the coronavirus and during the sort of tech boom in the last decade, and of course the cryptocurrency boom as well. However, like all companies and all things in Silicon Valley these days, his stocks were plummeting, his companies were not doing so well anymore, and like everybody, he was having a hard time. Now, that's not really why he was murdered. Apparently, they don't know the exact reason, but apparently he was murdered over a disagreement from one of his, I believe, tech advisors, disagreeing whether his sister had taken drugs or not.
Yes.
Not sure exactly, no one knows exactly how it started or why he was stabbed because of that argument, but they do know that he crawled around and finally found possible help from someone in a Toyota Camry who, when he went up to them, he asked for help and they drove away. So I didn't understand why they drove away on that one. The article didn't really say, and I didn't really look up more detail, but I'm sure they must regret it now. Or possibly they knew him and drove away on purpose. Who knows? But after he had that possible savior leave him, he struggled around for a little bit more and ended up succumbing to his wounds and perished. After they took his body into the hospital and pronounced him dead, they did a toxicology report and they found a lot of drugs in the bloodstream. They don't know if that's connected to the death at all or not, or even if it has anything to do with anything at this point. Everything is alleged. They don't know anything except someone died. So it's still ongoing, but we do know that it was quite a shocking circumstance for such a businessman of his stature to be slain so obviously and quickly, especially these days.
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone knows who was with him at that time. You know, true, it's not been proven yet, but the suspect seems pretty cut and dried.
Yeah. Exactly. So speaking of this Toyota Camry person, apparently this was done in a more safe neighborhood, ironically. Do you believe that people become more complacent about this type of crime when they are in a safe neighborhood?
I guess so. There's a higher chance that he thought it was just a prank, or he's not really that badly injured, or it's some Halloween party or costume or something, because you just don't see murders perhaps that commonly in that area. So perhaps he's more likely to misinterpret the situation because it's a safe neighborhood.
Oh, that's really good special effects, man.
Great costume. You should have waited for Halloween.
Yeah. Context is also a big one too. I think you hit upon something too. It's not quite the boy who cried wolf, but when we are exposed to so much negativity and also so many pranks that come increasingly dangerous, over time we stop reacting to shocking things around us. And I think that's part of it. Like Toyota Camry is like, I don't know what's happening and this is not my fight. I can't do this. Like, is that person following you? You know, am I gonna get hurt because of this? Am I gonna be in trouble because you tell the police that I did this to you? Like,
who knows?
Self-preservation maybe.
Through his mind, Still sad though. Like, you'd assume that if he'd been stabbed many times, he was asking for help. Help me, take me to the hospital, or I've been stabbed. You know, you'd think he probably was asking for help, and to walk or to drive away from someone begging for help seems a bit heartless. I mean, again, maybe when we hear from him, he misinterpreted the situation, or for some reason he was in fear for himself, but I don't know. We'll have to hear the details. It doesn't seem that likely to me.
I would assume, like, even if you were trying to do self-preservation, at least you could say, I'll call the ambulance, wait here. You know, keep your car locked, keep the windows up, call the ambulance and wait. to see, for them to come quickly. I assume it's a safe neighborhood, so I'm sure it'll be 3 minutes or less. I think that's kind of like the least you can do. If things turn for the worst, your car is locked and you can drive away. Yeah, there could have been other ways.
Did you have any thoughts about potential motivation? Like there was only a few little hints, something about the sister, or it was a business partner that he was with at the time of his death. Could it have been motivated by business? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, without knowing anything about the story, well, no one knows anything about the story for a fact yet, except he died. I don't really want to comment on it so much, but I believe any sort of situation like this can be prevented in hindsight. I think the article's trying to get at don't take drugs.
It could have been a contributing factor.
It could have been a contributing factor. They could have been on drugs, pretty upset, pretty high, and not sort of controlling their emotions well. But I think that's good advice at all times, even if it doesn't result in murder. Don't take drugs. I think that's good enough for now. But what's not good enough is your knowledge of the vocabulary below. So go ahead and check down there, memorize it, and try to use it in everyday language, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Plummet.
Plummet.
Slay.
Slay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Toxicology.
Toxicology.
Bloodstream.
Bloodstream.